Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. My name is Don Swanker. I'm going to call the Jackson County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. To my left, I have Mike Steinis.
Good morning.
To my right, I have Nin Flegel, Bjorn from IT, Lisa from the Auditor's Office.
Good morning.
And first up on the agenda, we have a public hearing in regards to a road vacation of 133rd Avenue in Macokina. So we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. We have Jaden Shekel from the engineer's office. If you want to give a few details again, just to refresh people.
Yep, so about a month or maybe at this point, 2 months ago, we received a request from adjacent property owners on 133rd Avenue, the level B portion, to vacate said level B portion due to its frequent to illegal dumping and problems, all that. So that's occurred in the county in the past. So that, or with that, then starts the process of this public hearing to where we're at today. So this one, though, has a little more involved with it, in the fact that there is a bridge on the vacated or on the segment of roadway proposed to be vacated. And I've been working with the auditor's office and the county attorney's office on it, and there is some guidance to us from a 1930s attorney general opinion that ultimately the county has to do something positive for the disposition of this bridge. And primarily that's either been completed in one of two ways, either by selling the bridge to the adjacent landowners for basically $1, and that we're there's an agreement and that basically we're relieving ourselves of all the liability, everything of that bridge to these property owners. They sign off on it, and in exchange for $1 payment. The second way is just by the county removing the bridge entirely. So that way, because the bridge is an asset that we actually own. We don't own the right of way. We just have the right of way by easement. The bridge we actually own and have, it's an asset to us. And that's the reason why we have to do something what they consider positive to the bridge. So those are one of the two ways to do it. And I have spoken with Craig, and I know that bridge would, I guess last we spoke anyway, that bridge would provide benefit to you yet by still remaining in place.
We crossed it with 4-wheelers.
Would you introduce yourself, please?
Craig Cruz, my family owns the majority of the land on both sides of 133rd. And we would like to get it closed so that we can keep the illegal dumping out of there, the tires, the trash, the yada yada, and we feed cattle on that farm. And if I leave a tractor down there, the battery's gone, the fuel's gone, it's just a headache having it open.
I did travel that road, and again, I crossed that bridge with my side by side, but I don't know if I'd cross it much more than that. But when you say, explain to me, Jaden, I'm sorry, I forget when we did it last time. Well, if we close this, we still have access to, correct?
So for vacating it, no, we would not.
No, we would not have a key to the gate.
No, because that is changing it from level B to level C, which that's not what the request was.
I
Right?
would prefer vacated,
So vacating is, yes, eliminating our right of way altogether, where we don't have easement or nothing through there. We're out of there.
And you don't foresee us having any need for that portion. I mean, I didn't see, is there electricity right on top of the farm to the north, I want to call it? Because I seen the water over there. I didn't pull in, of course, but I seen the water there, but I didn't.
To the north is where my son lives, and he's got electricity and water, but where that silo is in the middle, there's no electricity down there.
Oh, there's not, okay, but there was a water tank.
And
there's a windmill there and stuff.
Okay.
any utilities would still by Iowa code would still have their easements. Like if there was, say, overhead lines that went through there, they would still have rights to access it for them. But we, as the county, would not. We would be vacating our right of way altogether for how it's proposed here.
Well, I can't see any value to us to have it,
No, it does not.
to
Or not,
maintain it or any liability. I just want to make sure we're not liable for anything, especially that bridge.
No, so that's part of with the bridge, and the county attorney's office did draft up this, it's an agreement, bill of sale, and assumption of responsibility for the transfer of the bridge. And ultimately, with this bridge, there's two property owners. So with Craig being the one on the east side of them, there is a separate property owner on the west side of the bridge, which I have not heard from them, but ultimately it would have to be be transferred to both entities.
Equal.
Yes.
Equal.
Yep, and so with that, we'd have to add those
Can we
lines.
ask who's the other property owner?
So
Your sister, so it's family.
Yeah,
Kelly,
Kelly Nellis
Okay.
and Corey Army.
okay, would you be able to give me their contact information? Okay. So the bridge would be split up amongst those, between those two equal between those two property owners per this.
I did not receive any calls or
Okay.
inquiries of closing it or abandoning it, if you will.
I have not either.
So our process from here is to get the approval for the sale for the dollar and the agreement first, or what's the
So
next?
I would recommend, I guess first let me touch base on this, because this is gonna be a thing for how we're gonna tackle these going forward as well. The second thing is, once we vacate right of way, property owners are not. Any property they own that's in the right of way, they're not taxed for right of way. Well, once we vacate the right of way, any of that, what was right of way would go back on the tax roll to be taxed and assessed for. So talking with the assessor's office on how they would like to see how do they know what acreage is to go back on the tax roll? There have been examples in the past where a plat of easement had been prepared by a professional land surveyor, where they not only come up with the property lines, but also they show the right of way and call out the acreage of what's to go, ultimately what would go back to the tax roll. Yes, Lisa could probably correct me if I'm wrong. It's been done, this has been done sometimes, and then there's other times where it's not been done. And I guess going forward, I think it should be done just to be more consistent that way. This is the best way for the assessor's office to know what is going back to tax roll.
Obviously, there's not a lot of value in this to go back on the tax roll, but not to say in the future that there couldn't be. So we
different
should have
properties.
we should have a policy, we should have procedures that we follow pretty regularly or consistently.
Cause then the main point, or not the main point, but one of the main parts of the easement plat is who is going to be responsible for that cost? Cause we don't have a professional land surveyor on staff like some other counties do. And that's who it's gotta be prepared by. Well, they're gonna have a cost. So ultimately, who should be responsible for that cost? If whether does county be responsible if it's the county looking to vacate said roadway, or where the county is initiating it, and is it property owner or requester responsibility if they are the ones requesting? We don't have a policy, but I guess going forward, we should have something, because this will come up again periodically. But I guess with all being said, we won't.
Fair to me that whoever's requesting the abandonment should be assessed the responsibility or cost to say what's associated with it.
Cause say when a right of way goes forward, our resolution does not state what acreage or what part of the road is going back to the adjoining landowners. That we're just simply stating we are vacating our right of way at basically a beginning and end point based on section, corner, distance and bearings, all that. We're just basically giving the beginning and ending points and vacating the right of way in between those points. But
So wouldn't it be pretty obvious? I mean, it's 50-50, you own to the middle of the road, so whoever's on, if you own on both sides of the road, I guess you own it all. If you own somebody else on the other side, you own half.
in some instances, yes. In others where the road, makes 90 or curves every which way. Well, sometimes their property lines may not follow the center of the road. They may own, if it's in a 40-acre parcel, it may be the best way to describe that. I can't. Trying to think of one I can maybe think of when he could show up on the screen, but that may not always be the case.
Well, it all
I guess.
depends, like on a property I know of, they purchased it, the southern property line said you come over to this point to here, and then you go south until you reach the middle of this road. Well, the road moved.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
So,
the right
That
of way is still
changes,
there.
you can see the right of way and how it bent. But the property line said you go south until you get to the middle of the road. Well, the road moved about 50 or 70 feet, you know what I mean? So
But that's why you're having the engineer have a new description on, correct? I mean,
So, yeah, or surveyor.
surveyor, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it should be surveyed, as far as who's paying for it, the requester has skin in the game. There's more than one property owner, because everybody's gonna, and then again, we are also benefiting in the fact that we won't have to maintain this road. And we don't have to worry about the liability of a bridge,
No, but I guess one
we have liability on level.
Yeah.
The one benefit, large benefit on this segment of road as it relates to the county is we would be relieving ourselves of that bridge. So we'd have one less bridge on our system, one less bridge to worry about, liability, all that stuff. So that would be one of the, from my opinion, one of the county's benefits of this vacation is simply getting rid of that bridge.
I don't know if it would be possible. Like I told my sisters, we'd leave the west fence the way it is. And whatever the road comes out would go on the tax roll on the east side.
Oh, so you would
That's your
basically,
That's my side, yeah.
so you would basically own it all.
I would basically own it all. I told them that if we could make that work, that's how we would do it. That way they would have no tax increase and everything,
You have to vacate back to the property owner that you got it from. The county has to vacate.
So you could probably do something legally on your side, but from the county side, we have to vacate it back
Yeah.
to whoever owns.
Yeah, so we don't actually have ownership of the land. We just have an easement. So in us giving up our easement, the easement is,
Understand now.
so,
Maybe that was the same,
Right away.
we
yeah.
don't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, and also, and all we're doing is simply just, getting rid of our easement, and then when, say when a vacation goes through, it gets recorded, and when a surveyor comes through on additional surveys to do on that property in the future, when he does his research, they find these recorded documents that, oh, there's no right of way.
So I guess I would say, I think we probably not gonna take any action on this today because there's too many questions. But I think maybe one of the first things is hearing what you and your sisters were thinking. If it was actually surveyed out and you came up with kind of like a purchase agreement with your sisters, however, that would answer all our questions on how much of what this easement outline border would be identified. So when we vacate it, it would all be kind of wrapped up together, wouldn't it?
Well, and from the county standpoint, all we would, Lisa, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but all we would really, need is just this plat of easement prepared by the land surveyor. However they wanna distribute or change property lines would be on them. That's kind of
Right.
And
irrelevant.
Wimmer's in this, so it's not that long ago, actually, in 2011.
Yeah, and that's for a different road. That was for a different road. This is just an example of what one would expect, I guess.
So that's on, yeah.
Well, is there any way we can get, like Everhart can measure a field and tell you how many acres is in it.
It has to be
It
done.
has to be a legal survey.
No, there's pins and all kind of stuff they gotta find and locate. They'll know exact.
Well, I would say we could probably still move forward with our end of it because what they decide to do on how they do that is on them. Is that not correct?
So I don't know that we're fully clear of how we want to move forward with the sale of that bridge and how you're gonna allocate the land we're speaking of, if you're gonna allocate to for the tax purposes. We're not really clear on that, correct?
Yeah, that's one thing we'll just have to work out, because I guess I didn't know Kelly was your sister, because we want to reach out to her to make sure she's good, because ultimately what would happen is if the vacation goes through at a later meeting, we would bring this to the board for approval, and where you property owners jointly would sign this document. So we would have to, I'll actually give you this piece of paper, if you could write her phone number down so I can contact her. But I guess ultimately, yes, and the decision can be made later. We at least had the public hearing today to discuss if there's been any pros or positive feedback, or people are opposed to it, which.
I've heard nothing.
Okay, so do we need to have another public hearing for the, okay.
My question is, do we need to have a public hearing on the disposition of the bridge?
Legal counsel has the answer.
Have we ever sold a bridge before? Do we know how that process went?
So the county did,
It was vacated on that road by Seville. There was a bridge on that road.
I know the other one for sure is the bridge over the Macocota River on, just near Fulton on Old
Mhm.
61 by Manning's property.
That, because it's county, it's properties. I mean,
But I don't
I
know. if the
agree,
county
we need to
did.
talk to the county attorney, that would be my only, when you said, do we need to have another public hearing? That would be my only, when we do that, we traditionally need to have a public hearing on that, so that would be my only concern.
So I guess,
But would that not be covered in this because it was part of vacating the property?
This was specifically for the road vacation, correct?
yes, which this is our
And now we're gonna,
encompassing.
Part of the road.
but now we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about the disposition of the bridge, which is a county asset. I'm not saying I'm right.
Well,
just
we've
wanna question
even
that.
addressed it. It's in the county attorney's drafted a possible purchase agreement or whatever. So I don't know. That is another question. I would say right now, you guys need to get back together and kind of figure out what would be the best way to walk forward. You need to get with your sisters to figure out how the best way to do that if you want it all to go on yours, because that would be an assessor question on how that legal thing. I think if anything, if you get it all surveyed, does the plat of survey include the utility easement we need that we can get out of it, and how all this works out? There's a lot of moving parts and questions that before we can really move forward, but I think moving forward seems like an obvious thing.
I would agree. I don't see moving forward why this couldn't be vacated or why we couldn't come to some agreement getting it vacated. But yeah, I guess my recommendation would be no action made today, but just because of some of these, I'm gonna call them outstanding items, but.
I would make a motion to close the public hearing.
I would second that.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nan to close the public hearing regarding the road vacation of 133rd Avenue. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing's closed.
And I will make a motion, we will take further steps as needed depending on the property owner and request your input on this vacation. So I would
For the bridge and the road.
table the action on it.
I would second that.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Ned to table action on vacation of the road and the bridge of 133rd Avenue for further information. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You two get together and talk.
Will
All right?
Thank you for your time.
You betcha.
I will get you these numbers here shortly. I gotta go to the truck and get my phone.
Okay.
All right, so next up, we got visitors and citizens. Is there anybody in the gallery up? Jaden, you're next, so unless you want them to go.
Bingo, quick.
Okay. Anybody online or in person would like to address the board today? Yeah, we got online is Michael and Brittany, so. Hearing none, we'll move on to Lene Burkham with Community Services for Clinton and Jackson County. Come on up. Mental health agreement. How we doing?
Good. How are you?
How is the mental health for Clinton and Jackson County?
It's going good. This is
Okay.
2080 agreement.
I have more than one copy.
I just have the one that's signed. I do have the. Here it is. These are one that are signed, but for the rest of them, or do you need one? This one's.
So will we,
one.
we traditionally have two copies signed, that way we keep one, they keep one, so if we can.
This is the same as the one that came in the packet, correct?
I
Yes,
assume so.
I assume.
yes, it is.
Okay,
Correct.
So
is this a redefinition of our agreement?
So it's just the changing because they only have it for a year at a time. So it's exactly the same except for the dates have been changed.
okay, and
Working.
everything's working
Yep. So
as planned?
yeah, as good as it can. So I've been,
Are we getting paid?
Mhm.
Okay.
and I've been working with the DAP. And we've been having some clients that we've been kind of bouncing back and forth and helping. It's worked out where there's certain things that they're pretty limited on what they're able to do and fund because they have HHS guidelines that they have to follow. So then I kind of catch the ones that kind of slip through the cracks, and then help them get the services that they need and the benefits that they qualify for. And then we kind of go back and forth. Once I get them going and ready, then they can go to them, or sometimes they have folks that they aren't able to help and they can bring me in with certain things that they're not able to do.
Do we feel like there's less funding or that people aren't getting services they need because of they can't cover the
Correct.
fees
So
that are needed?
some of the funding has definitely changed. When we were a region, we did have some say in the folks that we served and how we were able to fund them and discretion. And we could base things on people's income and do a sliding scale. Well, that's kind of gone to the wayside. So it's either they qualify or don't qualify. And one of the big things too is like, when we were a region, we had folks who did have insurance, but they couldn't necessarily afford co-pays, or, they would maybe have to spend $5,000 before their insurance would kick in. That would be something that the region would have been able to help with a sliding scale, but that type of thing no longer exists. Transportation remains an issue. And then also, like with the region, we would sometimes fund people who were coming out of a facility. We would fund their rent for a month or two, because your social security doesn't click in right away. So we've had some issues that we've been trying to work with the ASO and the DAP with, trying to get that funding in place, because rent is not something that they fund. And they don't want to have to fund that, but I think they're starting to see we're getting people who are trapped in, a hospital or a facility because they don't have the income to pay that first month's rent, and people aren't gonna let them move in the community until they have that first month's rent, but they can't get their benefits until they're in the community. So we're kind of had an issue with that with a few people that we've been working on. So.
All right. So, I mean, just an overall view of it. I've heard less about it in the last year than I have in 8 years prior, because it was always something and always an issue, whether it be with law enforcement or with your services, and I've heard very little. So to me, that's good news. It seems like it's seamless. I've never had calls as far as issues, and
Good.
I don't know. Is that true, or am I missing something?
My question was gonna be kind of along that lines, is it's been almost a year since the transition.
Correct.
How's it going?
So I think, the people that are coming to me and stuff, we're able to help them, we're able to get what they need. The big barriers, like I said, are the transportation and the rent. And I know that the ASO is working with trying to get some of that stuff figured out. We've had some issues with like MHI sometimes not having beds available for people, but that's not a new issue. That was an issue that was always there, but they are trying to work with trying to get that more easily accessible to people as well. So, I mean, as far as like the people in our community, and if they're getting the services, we're getting them hooked up with what we're able to do.
Okay.
Well, the seamless, you kind of talk about seamless transition, is the fact that the only problem I have with this over the last year is the fact that you existed before this, and now you still exist because we decided we were gonna pay for it.
Right.
So basically what was once funded by the state, we had to swallow, and we did it because we needed to maintain the connection and putting the services of the people together. That is something that we decided. Other counties might not have that option or didn't have that option. And so they're probably having a completely different experience with this, but we're not because of you, and we appreciate that. But that's why we continued the services, because it's a needed thing. But it's also one of these things, it gets back to that stupid phrase of it's an unfunded mandate that passed down from the state in an effort to save money and downsize and all this stuff. All they did was push an expense off on the taxpayers of Jackson County. And unfortunately, we were in a position where we could handle it and do so, but I still get tired of hearing how much the state has in savings when they keep pushing expenses off onto us. Because we don't have savings and I don't like hearing how we don't understand how local taxing goes. When the state says we gotta figure out how we need to do it better, when I think it's the opposite for the most part, because when they almost get to the point where they understand it, they change it. And it's.
I mean, wasn't really a tremendous burden to us because of the fact that did have the opportunity to share with Clinton County. We didn't know how that was gonna work, but when we go to the state level, listen, it's horror stories out there. I mean, you hear horrible things. I mean, they're up in arms. They're, yeah, but I can see it happening in maybe a bigger metropolis too, or something, maybe.
Even in our own county, how many people would be hurting and how many people would we be hearing
Yeah,
from
yeah.
if we didn't fund this?
I guess we'd be hearing from law enforcement, my guess. I don't know.
you know. And yeah, we would see some of that come through the law enforcement and through the jail. And I do have to say our community is lucky too, because we do have Robert Young. So I know that that's a service that we're very lucky to have as well.
So we appreciate everything you've done to kind of help make it seamless and I think this agreement's a good thing because us working with Clinton County, it's a manageable thing for you and it reduces the tax burden to Jackson County citizens by half.
Okay.
And that's a win-win for both us and Clinton County. So I think we should keep it going.
I would make a motion to go ahead with the 2080 agreement for another year through with Clinton County.
I would second.
Got a motion by Nan, second by Mike to approve the 2080 agreement for mental health coordinator services in Clinton County for the next year ending in June 30th, 2027. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else for us?
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
do appreciate it.
All right. They've been sitting. Becky, you ready? Or Jade? I don't. You're back.
It's just a department update, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, our secondary roads guys are out since all the rain we've been having. They're just out mowing, and doing some edge running. Basically we're not reclaiming, so just doing some other maintenance activities throughout the county that get on the back burner when we're reclaiming. As far as construction, yeah, very busy. The bridge on Z15 or the Springbrook Highway, all the bridge work is I say bridge work, just the bridge. They're still grading and paving, but the bridge is complete, including the rail. So now the subcontractors are out there doing all the grading, pavement removals, placing riprap to get ready for new pavement. And so that way guardrail can get put in and pavement marking. So we got about, depending on weather, about a month left yet on that project. The Chenoweth Bridge on 82nd Avenue, they have poured the north abutment last week. And all the pile for the abutments and piers are all driven. Most of the substructure for piers and abutments are close to being done. Just they should be pouring an abutment sometime this week yet. So that's going well yet.
So is there a schedule kind of like on that? I mean, I know they have X amount of days, but do they kind of follow a schedule of what should be done in a certain amount of time?
They do, yes. So prior to the couple weeks when the river came up, the river was also high back in April, which delayed them on the pier construction for at least a few weeks because it was so high they couldn't build a cofferdam and couldn't pump the water out. So they do have a schedule, but it's been altered quite a bit just due to all these reasons.
So when you say altered, that's an agreement that you guys signed that because there was, I'm just gonna rough 13 days of high water, that is extended automatically by that much, or is there something in agreement?
No, it's basically they get the contract is set up by working days. So during the days of high flooding, they were not charged working days because they couldn't.
I get it, but that's documented into it, how many working days? Okay, so
Yeah,
it's
we have
extended by that much.
Yeah, we have to submit reports every week to the DOT and that's with any of our projects, Z15, the overlay that I'll get to, all of those, there's reports that get created weekly for all that. So with that, the paving project, on Bernard Road from E17 to the Crabtown Bridge, all the sub drain work has been completed last week for that. So now we're just waiting for Boomerang to come in and start the actual paving, which that is scheduled for Tuesday of next week. They got pushed back because of the rain, because the sub drain guys were pushed. Basically, rain's pushed everybody back on all these projects. So Tuesday is the day they're coming in to pave as of right now.
Is that double wide lane at a time when they pave?
Yeah, they're gonna be
Okay.
paving full width, including paved shoulder. They're gonna do the full width
Yeah.
at once. And we've been in coordination with the post office and some of the property owners, because part of that, mail will get held at the post office.
Which end are they starting on?
They will be starting from or towards on the Moorhead side by Crabtown Bridge
Okay.
and work their way south.
Or is he something?
Work their way towards the plant, because the plant is set up at Rockdale Quarry.
Are you coordinating with them to make sure, or with all farmers, that make sure they don't get livestock trapped on one side or the other? Or?
So I know we sent out letters to them that they'll still have temporary access to their property. So the contractor's gonna provide golf carts for them to drive along once they pave, to drive on the shoulder from the hard closure to their driveway, if their driveway ends up being in there. But with the strength, they should be able to get on the slab the next day. So it's just
How much higher is the road gonna be than it was?
about 6.5 inches nominally.
I was at the rodeo and I had a chance to talk to Moorheads, and they were concerned about backing in and out of there. A lot of if it's raised, the slope of their driveway, they might not be able to back their semis in and out of there. So you might
And
want to talk to them.
so, and their property's just towards the bridge, right? The area where he's talking with livestock. So that's all, we're not actually getting into that with the overlay, because that pavement's all been done about 20 years ago when they put in the Crabtown Bridge and the triple box culvert that's there. So that's all only 20-year-old pavement. So we're tying our overlay into that. The only thing that'll occur on that stretch of 20-year-old pavement is a few panels, tear out replacements that are cracked pretty severely. But other than those cracked panels, the rest of the pavement's in good shape. So there's no sense of overlaying it. So that really shouldn't be affected for them there,
Okay.
because that paving carries past, that 20-year-old pavement goes past their entrance.
You know, when they did the overlay, like on the 250th, it seemed dramatic when you raise it 5.5, 6 inches, but after it's done and all the gravel and all gradient done, you can't even tell it, but it's pretty dramatic at the time.
And so on our plans, we put on there, like at driveways, like if we know where the right of way is, we're all staying within the right of way here, because since it's wide enough, but we carry the grade back further enough to make it gradual rather than, tying it in within the first 5 feet.
Right.
Depending on the grades, how the driveway slopes to the road, away from the road, what have you, we adjust for that and carry the grades out further, or our limits out further to make the slope change more
Okay.
gradual. But yeah, that's works planned for Tuesday. And the bridge on 458th Avenue, just east of Preston, they're gonna be pouring that deck. The plan is on Thursday. So our staff is actually out there right now shooting deck grades, because they'll be ready to pour concrete on Thursday for that one. So
Cool.
full steam ahead, and the fog seal on Z20 from Highway 64 going north up to Spragueville and then just north of Spragueville. That was completed last week, and you'll notice, the public will notice no pavement markings yet, and that's intended yet. They will see the temporary orange signs that say no pavement markings, because we have to allow that fog seal to cure before we can put those pavement markings on. So, which is about anywhere from 21 to 30 days. So about, let's just call it a month. So they will continue to see no pavement markings for at least a few weeks yet.
It looks new again, it's just, it does its job, yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Jaden? Appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
Yep, have a good day.
You too.
Now, I'm back up from zoning. Good morning.
Morning.
Zoning department continues to stay busy with routine zoning permit reviews, property inquiries, setback questions, floodplain screening, and subdivision related questions. Part of the day-to-day work continues to be helping applicants understand what information is needed up front, so permits can be reviewed accurately and consistently. One of the biggest items over the last several months has been the high density computing facility or data processing facility ordinance work. The joint work session with the zoning commission and board of supervisors was held on June 15th. There was strong public attendance, both in person and on Zoom, and it was great to see how orderly and respectful everyone was, especially considering the amount of public interest leading up to the meeting. For attendance, I do not have an official count because sign-in was optional and several people chose not to sign in. We had 71 chairs set up in the main room and they were pretty much filled up. There were also 48 chairs set up in the overflow room, and that room was at least half full. There were also people participating by Zoom. With all of that combined, I would estimate somewhere around 120 to 130 people participated or attended in some form. Public comments were largely supportive of the county taking a proactive approach, and several speakers thanked the commission for the amount of work that has gone into the draft. The concerns expressed focused mainly on setbacks, noise and vibration, utility demand, water use, who pays for infrastructure upgrades, e-waste and other waste handling, scenic byway protection, and making sure there are meaningful enforcement tools and penalties if a facility violates the ordinance. Overall, the feedback reflected a desire for an ordinance that is clear, enforceable, and tailored to Jackson County's local conditions. Therefore, my priorities for the next few weeks are to keep routine permits moving, continue ordinance work, and keep improving communication with applicants through geo-permitting.
I thought that meeting went very well, and I'd like to compliment the people that showed up, because, you know, some of these meetings can get kind of tense and things, and it was, everybody was, you know, thoughtful and well-spoken and considerate. I think it went very well.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Totally.
hats off to the zoning department, the board, and the zoning commission, and everybody that attended. I was very pleased with how it went, and it was great conversation.
Definitely was. And
There
there
was.
were
There was a lot of positive conversation involved, and they respected the work that you guys were doing. You know, there's always a few comments here and there, and there always will be. But all in all, you know, it's a process where, again, you can't just ignore it. So it's coming. We don't want to get left behind, but we want to do it right for the taxpayers and the constituents of Jackson County. Now, that's a majority. You're probably not going to get them all to agree. So it's kind of a majority. So.
Yeah.
Again, we're working for everybody and we respect everybody's opinion. And there was a lot of, and if you have a copy of that, I would appreciate that if you had a lot of items in there. But I made notes of, but you make it sound a lot better. Than my notes, I can read.
You can't read your notes.
writing.
It takes a translator,
And again, everybody is trying to do what's best for Jackson County. We can't control what goes on in other counties, but we're trying to do what's best for Jackson County as a whole.
Right.
And we all have unique circumstances and situations, each county. So one county's ordinance won't work here and vice versa. So
Yeah.
We're doing the best we can for what we have in our house.
Sure.
And I have heard from other counties and they appreciate what we're doing and they appreciate that I sent, you know, right to them instead they have to go hunt for it. So I sent them the draft, you know, and they appreciated it and very much so. And we make the TH about every day also, so they mention us quite a bit.
Yeah.
Today, you know, we had a lot of good points in our draft, but you know, it needs some more. Okay, well, we're
Yeah.
open, our ears are open here, you know.
Right.
It's still
And that's good. Some people reach out since that meeting and
good.
ask questions and.
Conversations are going, so
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Appreciate it.
There was a lot of work up to it too. Thank you to Bjorn for setting everything up, and the maintenance guys did a great job with all of the chairs, and Lisa and Shelley were very helpful.
Yeah. We just need to make sure the air conditioner's turned on.
Yeah.
If we
closer-
have that many.
closer. Yeah.
If we have that many in there again, got a little warm there.
And Jeff did mention that he even cranked it that afternoon, but you know, they
Yeah.
just.
Well, there's a lot of individuals that are.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you
Okay,
bet.
Good day. Can I email you? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Will you do?
thank you.
I'll email you all.
Okay. Next up, we have Beth Gerlach from the Treasurer's Office. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. So I think you have your abatement requests resolutions so there are 3 requests. 2 of them are mobile home tax. And they date back, you can see, the first one for Robert Lee Street dates back to 2007. And the other one for Kyle Lee Morris dates back to 2015. They're all different circumstances, but the third one is a building on leased land in Leisure Lake, which is a mobile home that was there, but now we've got confirmation that is no longer there. It's been a problem for quite a while since the owner of the mobile home has been deceased for quite some time too. So I'll start with the two mobile homes in the mobile home park, which is Prairie Creek, which is just on East Platte Street. The first one, Robert Lee Streets, I got confirmation from the park manager that one has been removed and destroyed. I tried to look up Robert Lee Streets. I did find a Robert Lee Streets that's still living in Iowa, but I don't know. I'm assuming it's the same guy. But at this point, with the mobile home being removed from the park, and the park owners trying to get a new home in there to collect taxes on, I'm asking for abatement on that one. The total tax portion is $2,546 on that mobile home. And the next one is Kyle Lee Morris. I have spoken to Kyle in person. He gave the story that he was living there with his grandma or something, and a storm came through and the roof was damaged and it was inhabitable. So he just abandoned it and moved out and didn't pay the taxes and didn't do anything with it. So it sat abandoned for a while. In those situations, which I'm sure Roberts was probably abandoned as well, the park owners can go through the abandonment process through the courts in order to get the mobile home destroyed or take ownership of it. The park owners did not do that in either one of these cases, but if they were to have done that, then this is what we would have to do. The court would order us to abate the taxes in those situations. They get it free and clear to clean it up in hopes of getting new mobile home taxes to start collecting again. So the total on that one is $1,276. And of course, that one has also been confirmed destroyed and is now an empty lot.
So just a question, how does this sit, like this first one, how does it sit there and fester since 2007?
Yeah, I mean,
We're talking almost 20 years.
right, as long as it's there, we have to keep taxing it. So it's really the park owners that should take that into their own hands since it's in their park and go through the abandonment process and get it cleaned up. But there's nothing that's really forcing them to do that if they wanted to sit there in their park abandoned. As long as it's physically sitting there, we're gonna keep taxing it, whether someone's living in it or not.
But if we're not getting paid for the part that we're taxing on, can't we do something sooner? Can't we proceed
Well,
with,
we can send it to tax sale, but if it doesn't generally.
but then
get
it's
sold.
over.
What?
Then if we send it to tax sale.
She says it doesn't.
They
get
generally
paid.
don't get purchased at tax sale, so then
Okay,
they
so
go.
then we still, but then there's not a process after that, then
So
who owns
then-
it? Do we own it then?
Yeah, yes. So,
We don't want that.
yes, it's
I
right.
could get rid of it in a big hurry with some demolition and a dump truck and a backhoe, but I mean,
Yes.
this last one, you're talking $6,000.
Right, and it's just, yeah, taxes that have been accruing and accruing and accruing on a home that's sitting there abandoned, but of course, we're not collecting on it, and the means we have would be sending it to tax sale the first year if it doesn't get sold, which generally they don't get
Well,
sold
obviously,
unless
there's no
someone
value there.
and accidentally buys it. And then they go to a second year. The following year, if they're on tax sale the second year and don't get sold, that's when it becomes a county held tax sale
So
certificate.
there's no way we can assess the landowner.
Well, at the landowner,
So like in the lease.
I mean, because one,
yeah,
I
no,
would assume he's not letting these sit for 15 years, not collecting a lot rent.
right, maybe, I don't know, but To my knowledge, no, I don't think we can assess it to the landowner. They're paying their real estate taxes on the land. This mobile home tax isn't on real estate, it's on the person that owns the mobile home.
Is it
So
more
it's
a
like
title or
school,
full tax or-
it's school, it's fire, it's city, it's those taxes. It's not real estate tax. It's,
Has that always been the same? I mean, I lived in a mobile home for a while, but.
as far as I
40,
know,
50
yeah.
Years ago, it's still the same process as far as taxes per year is based on,
The square footage and
Okay.
the, how old the
on
mobile
the
home
structure.
Is there a way that we could pass an ordinance to require notification if a mobile home park is sending a unit through the salvaged or abandoned process, that we get notified? So we find out, okay, so let's say the mobile home park went through this 10 years ago for this one from 2007. Let's say it's 10 or 15 years ago. They went through the abandonment process and got it destroyed and moved out of there.
So
That we could say, hey, you have to notify us if you
they
do that.
do notify us if it goes through that process, because it's through the courts, and I get a court order that's telling me that I have to give this to them free and clear.
Okay,
So that means to say these didn't go through that process. So
so
they,
how did they get gone?
exactly.
See, that's my question. How did they get, both of them aren't here?
I have pictures to show their empty lots. Now, they're not there anymore. They're destroyed and gone.
So did the
The park
property owner
owner,
the park owner just decided it's cheaper to just get it gone than it would be to go through the,
that's my assumption. Mhm. My assumption is
I
that,
just can't imagine if if the park owner had a accessible lot for somebody else, that he wouldn't wait 15 years to say, to get rid of.
well, and these
If it's
park,
inhabitable
yeah.
the first 2 years,
The-
obviously it ain't gonna get any better.
Right, this
So-
park ownership, I think, has changed probably
Yeah, I
15
think you're
times
right.
in this amount of time too, so. It's just kind of been a problem that's passed down and passed down and passed down.
So, I guess, but this might be. So obviously it's in the city limits of Macocota, correct? So is there a nuisance type thing that goes with these?
I don't know the answer to that.
You know what I mean?
I don't
It sounds
know
like
if
it's a
it-
way to maybe speed up the process or say, hey, this is a nuisance, clean it up, Or we're gonna do it.
Possibly.
I don't know if mobile home I know
Yeah.
there's a rental ordinance, things like that, but if they're not renting the trailer, if they own the trailer outright, I don't know if it's.
Well, did we do that in Leisure Lake? I don't know if we had any of them situations or not.
Anyway, back to this, thoughts of the board as far as these resolutions.
You wanna know about the third one? Cause it's a different situation. So Leisure Lake, Michaela Lauer, she has been assessed with the sewer utility. Or had been, but, instead of ECIA. Assessing the real estate owner, which the grinder is in the ground. They were assessing the building on leased land, which is the mobile home. So she owned the mobile home and her parents owned the real estate. ECIA had a contract with her, the one who was using the utility. So they started taxing the special assessments to the BLL parcel instead of the real estate parcel. BLLs can't go to tax sale. Special assessments can. So these special assessments, I think a few of them did actually accidentally get paid on tax sale by a tax sale investor and they just let it go. But there is a county held tax sale certificate outstanding with those special assessments on it at this point in
On
time.
this one,
On this one.
okay?
So ECIA a few years ago, probably in 2022, stopped assessing this BLL parcel for the Leisure Lake sewer utility. So that they stopped, but all of the previous delinquent special assessments were still there. And those three that you see in 2019, 2020, and 21 are all on a county held tax sale certificate. And the reason that those 3 years are there is because that was during COVID and we didn't have a tax sale in 2020. So what this one would be actually canceling the county held tax sale certificate. That makes those still due, and then we would have to remove the special assessments then, and that is where ECIA comes into play. So I reached out to ECIA to get confirmation that we can abate the special assessments on this property, and they did agree through email that that is what they would like done. So, so that's what this is. So you'll see that it's been BLL taxed, which again, it's not real estate tax, it's just tax on that building, the mobile home is taxes back since 2008, and then there are some special assessments that are the county held ones. That's the certificate number 2022-22125 is what I would be canceling on this one. And again, this one has really been a problem for quite some time for us.
So is it in our best interest to abate that tax sale? Because if it goes through as a tax sale, the new
Well,
potential new owner.
Essentially, it's not the county's money to collect, it's ECIA. So if I were to collect on this, the county isn't going to really get anything besides the.
So
interest.
is this a loophole that happened somewhere when ECA did this whole sewer system? That they assessed to the boxcar, if you will?
Right, instead of the
real estate?
because the
Was-
real estate can go to tax
Value,
sale and
yeah,
that has
it
the
was
value. In my opinion, they should have never assessed it to a building on leased land.
I know that
And
that
the
was kind of a
beginning.
new process when they did that whole, you know, and they learned some valuable lessons, I'm sure, but
Right,
USDA was involved heavily also with that whole process.
yeah.
So,
And that's, you know, right, I don't think it should have ever been assessed to this person in the first place. I think it should have been assessed to the real estate owner where you can send it to tax sale and you can collect on it and they have some skin in the game to try to redeem it. But yeah, she's deceased. The mobile home has now been removed. Jess reached out to me from the assessor's office to let me know that it is gone, and she has been having to assess it because it's still been sitting there. So the taxes have been adding up for the BLL tax. But now that it's removed, she's asking if we can remove the parcel so it no longer exists. And in order to do that, we have to clean all this up first.
So in other words, we don't have a whole lot of choice here to move forward. We need to move forward at this point.
Yeah,
You know, I mean,
we
we're
gotta
not-
get this.
We're
cleaned
not
up.
out anything. It's not like we're
Right.
game.
No, you're not.
Are
You're-
these
They're all three
able
separate.
to do, and you got three different
Three
resolutions?
separate ones.
There's
So the
three
first
separate-
resolution is 1191-06-23. 2026 is for the mobile home owned, removed and destroyed owned by Robert Lee Smith at Prairie Creek
Great.
Mobile Home Park. The streets for 2546.
I'd make a motion to approve resolution 1191-06-23-2026.
I would say.
Got a motion by Nan, second by Mike to approve resolution 1191-06-23-2026, abating taxes on a mobile home owned, removed and destroyed by Robert Lee Streets at Prairie Creek Mobile Home Park for $2,546. Any other discussion?
I have a question. I'm sorry, Don, did you say what?
No.
What was the name?
Robert Lee Streets.
Okay, I'm on the wrong resolution then.
Any
Is
other
that-
discussion?
Is that the right number? As that was my
Yes,
question.
1191.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next one would be looking for a motion for resolution 1192 for the Kyle Morris, same place.
I would move to approve resolution 1192-06-23-2026 as presented.
I would second that.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nan to approve resolution 1192-06-23-2026, abating taxes on the mobile home owned, removed and destroyed by Kyle Lee Morris at Prairie Creek Mobile Home Park for $1,276. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the last one is for the abating of taxes for the land leased on parcel Ravik number at Leisure Lake for Michaela Lauer.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 1193 06 2023. Yeah,
2026.
2026. Sorry.
I would second.
Got a motion by Dan, second by Mike to approve a resolution 1193 06 23 2026 abating taxes and sewer assessments on leased land for Michaela Lauer on parcel number 0504244260300000 for $6,388.15. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks
All right.
very much.
Thank you.
Good day.
I'll have to get busy on this. Thank you.
And next up, we have Lisa from the auditor's office. You have the floor.
So on my agenda for today is a discussion and possible action on the appointment to the Veterans Affairs Commission. So I would like to yield some of my time. So Ruth, and
John
Pitlow.
so John Pitlow can come forward to discuss the appointment.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning, John.
We do.
First of all, I want to thank all of you for your patience with me in this whole process because I have never been through it before. Our last process was just a reappointment. So I think we had a little bit of, I had a misunderstanding as to how the process would work. My assumption was that applications were submitted to you and then how they got to the commission, I was unsure, but according to Iowa code, the appointments are made in consultation with the VA commission and the executive director or administrator. So the commission has not been presented the applications yet. I actually just saw them yesterday for the first time. So I do apologize for that misunderstanding and, and how the process worked. So I guess I know the commission would like an opportunity to review the applications and make their recommendation to the Board of Supervisors.
So as we spoke yesterday.
Yeah, when you called me.
We kind of went through this whole
minute.
process and I was kind of confused myself because I assumed that they have seen them and do their interview process or whatever it may consist of. And talking to one of the board members this past weekend, that was not the case. Actually, it was John that I spoke to.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, so I would assume that would be the process and it would make sense to me that you would go through the applicants and bring us a recommendation, if you will.
And you guys do make the appointment,
Correct,
but we get a chance to review and make a recommendation to you.
correct. So my other question would be, and I apologize, does human resource have anything to do with it? Do they go through the screening interview type process, or is it just the board and the director and?
No, HR.
You talked to Becky?
I reached out to Becky yesterday just to see if she had any historical knowledge of how the process had worked before. She didn't, she kind of knew that the commissioners would look over the applications. I am unsure if the commissioners have done, there was a bit of discussion last meeting as to whether there had been an interview process before, whether they had just looked at the application. Becky and I had kind of discussed too, did the applications need to be de-identified before they were given to the commission, right? So I erred on the side of caution and have not given them the applications yet because there was kind of this question of, does that need to be done as well?
Who's stepping off the commission?
Pardon me?
Laura?
Who's stepping off the commission?
Laura Eggers.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
So as
did
again-
her 3 years and she just felt if she wasn't contributing.
Again, as we spoke yesterday, it's a process where we go through every time, but not like we have multiple candidates most of the time for volunteering,
Yeah.
Right.
So it's nice to have two qualified or two or
Yeah.
more, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
to actually,
Well, there is
they're
some
interested.
question because there's a lot of board and commissions that we do the interviewing and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So it's
So is this mandatory? Do you recommend that we interview the candidates before we make a recommendation, or just read their application and make a decision on the application?
Personally, my personal feeling is that you do a little background probably and do something, maybe use HR, maybe a little bit, and to do, I mean, some vetting of some sort.
Well, I look at it like, do all the four remaining persons, or even Laura, five, if she's still attending the meetings. Do y'all know them?
Well, they don't know yet.
I don't know who that.
No, that's where it boils down to.
No, well, wait a minute, I may know them, because I've talked to two of them that said they were gonna put their applications
But
in,
what
but
I'm
I
saying-
don't know if those are the two that are in or not.
Well, it's just, I would do some kind of interview process, just because you don't know, you might know them, you
Yeah.
might not.
The other people.
The
do
other
not.
people might not know
Exactly.
who they are, and
Yeah.
it's just more of a, you can get a lot more off an interview face to face than just looking at a piece of paper.
No doubt, no
So,
doubt.
however you guys wanna do it, it's up to you.
I was gonna say, ultimately, it's up to you guys
Yeah.
how you wanna do it. If
Okay.
you wanna just go off the paper, that's your choice. If you
Yeah.
wanna
Okay,
reach out and talk to them and make sure they have a total understanding of what,
I don't think they're gonna have a total understanding what they're getting into, I knew it was,
That's
but.
normal.
But you know, you can kind of lay out what your duties are gonna be,
The
and
flip side of that, I think they deserve an explanation to what they're getting into.
right,
well, I think the description kind of
Yeah.
tells you, you know, when you're gonna
Yeah.
apply for it, what you're expecting.
And there's a lot of questions on the application that they fill in.
Yeah. Mhm. And it does say, I did notice in code too, it says, however, a member, so it talks about appointing the members and whatever, but it says, however, a member shall serve until a successor has been appointed and qualifies. So I'm assuming that that also means that Laura would be part of this process, you know, because it says shall serve until its successor is.
But her term ends June 30th.
I know.
So if our interviews are after June or in July,
so with that being
But the
said though
coach
too,
still
does that
says-
mean if we didn't get any applications? You would
I
still be
know.
listed as that person until we got one?
I'm looking at it, and it says, however, a member shall serve until a successor has been appointed and qualifies.
The word shall is important.
Shall is an important word, so I,
A means it's optional.
Yeah.
Shall means she will.
That's
but what if she doesn't want it, you know?
Again, that's a.
You don't have to participate in the meeting if you're on. Yeah.
Participate, but she would still be listed as.
Okay.
But this might help motivate her pick a successor, you know.
right, so and I have been including her in communication, obviously, anything that I send, because she technically is still a commissioner until, you know, her term doesn't end until the 30th, but then I saw this and I was like, well, I think that
Mhm.
she still has.
Again, there's a legal interpretation there, so I would lean that side of it then.
Okay.
And then going forward, I mean, obviously, I would like to see this process on your end
Mhm.
go quicker rather than
No
being
doubt.
drug out.
No doubt.
And
I agree.
that was my misunderstanding of it too. I think that we need to probably define what the process is moving forward of, you know, who gets the applications, how they need to be distributed, you know, because like I said, I've never been through it before and I made assumptions that I should not have made.
Well,
should have
and I
asked the
think-
question.
No, but
No.
the veterans side of it is kind of different than
It is.
some other
Mhm.
things that we appoint.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also talked gender balance, which doesn't really come into play as much as it used to 3 or 4 years ago, but. I guess that's something that you consider also, you know.
We talked about that already, I think, in the commission meeting, and we're all on board on that, Mike, that.
Yeah.
If we have a qualified female of the two, we would probably lean in that direction, unless there's something really red
Outstanding the other
flag
way or
popping up or something like that, because we would like to keep, gender equality as much as we can on that commission.
Okay, so I guess with that being said, we don't really have to do nothing, right?
No, that's just-
We just talked
Okay.
about it and
Yeah.
we review the applications and you redo your
Yeah.
homework and,
We will,
Give us a recommendation.
okay. Question for Don.
Yeah.
Am I gonna see you the 4th of July in Bellevue in the old Veterans March?
sounds like pressure.
We don't know yet.
I didn't know that was a
Well, it depends on
question.
whether I do that or do I have a campaign afloat because I'm running again.
Well, you can do both, can't you?
Walking boys, Don, come on.
The only thing I've learned is there is a misnomer when you say, are you gonna walk in a parade? Because there's no such thing as walking in a parade because all cars are going 5 miles an hour and that's running.
We are walking.
I did that once.
We are veterans and we are walking. And if you can't walk, we got a wagon for you to ride.
Double the money, you get double the money.
Holy, I think I left about 20 pounds with me the last time I walked that
In
parade.
fact, I
He had to
was.
stop and think about that for a minute, he didn't answer that right away.
I'll get with you, because the last time we did it, they had just redid the asphalt the day before, and it was really hot that day.
Yeah, I
That
remember.
road was still really hot that day, and whew.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, guys.
See you later.
Appreciate, the committee and the commission for that too,
Yeah,
John.
thank you. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you very much.
All right, back to Lisa.
So with that being said, I need a motion to approve the June 16th, 2026 meeting and work session minutes as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspapers.
I would make that motion.
7 seconds.
Got a motion by Nin, second by Mike to approve the minutes of the June 16th, 2026 meeting and work session written by Auditor Smith, authorized publication in official newspapers. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Hi,
Opposed? Motion carries.
I need a motion to approve and authorize the auditor's office to issue warrants in the publication of the claims listing in the amount of $237,772.33.
so move.
I would second that.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nin to approve and authorize the auditor's office to issue warrants in the publication of the claims listing in the amount of $237,772.33. Just FYI for the public, there was about a $72,000 audit bill in there. And there was about $27,000 in dental insurance expenses and stuff. And the rest of it's just kind of run of the mill.
This is our last claims period of the fiscal year.
Yeah.
We did, traditionally, we would have had it next week, but we bumped it up a week because by the time we would approve on June 30th, the actual checks would not be would be
Cleared.
July, which would be in a different fiscal year, so we moved it up a week.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Need a motion to approve the cigarette permit to SNK Gas and Food LLC doing business as Otter Creek Stop at 18820 Bellevue Cascade Road, Zwingle, effective July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027.
I would make that motion.
I would second.
Got a motion by Nin, second by Mike to approve a cigarette permit to SNK Gas and Food LLC doing business as Otter Creek Stop at 18820 Bellevue Cascade Road, Zwingle, effective July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
We have just very few outstanding warrants, but this is our annual practice. I would like to have a motion to approve resolution number 1190-06-23-2026, canceling outstanding warrants in the Jackson County Auditor's Office for a total amount of $88.81 effective June 23rd, 2026.
Anything in particular that's we're canceling that should be,
It's
like-
pretty much the same people
yeah,
that we're trying to get to ACH. We would rather direct deposit their checks when we pay them instead of
Right.
writing a check, so.
I would make that motion.
I would second that.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nan to approve a resolution 1190-06-23-2026, canceling outstanding warrants in the Jackson County Auditor's Office with a total amount of $83.81 effective June 23rd, 2026. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
What I have for the today. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you very much. Anything for the good of the meeting, boards and commissions?
Early childhood, we've had a lot of meetings with kind of the merger going on. We did have our first joint meeting with Dubuque, Clinton, Jackson County. They're working on a name because the name they kind of came up with was very confusing because it runs very close to ECIA. So we're looking at what that name will actually be, but it is going forward, and we had our last meeting with just Clinton, Jackson County and trying to work through all the loopholes, like, you know, they gotta stay Clinton, Jackson County through September to try to get all the final bills and things in, but getting through all that and going forward, and I think it'll be very good. I mean, there's some things that Dubuque County does that Jackson County doesn't do. There's some things that Clinton, Jackson County does that Dubuque doesn't do. So between the three of them, I think there'll be a good flow over of things that are available to families and young children in the areas.
Cool. Mike, you got anything?
Wait, authority meeting got moved this week or last week because of, lack of a quorum. So it'll be Monday. Otherwise, everything was operating about as normal as we expect.
Together We Build had a meeting last Monday. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend because I was attending a zoning meeting. I've since talked to them. They said it was pretty much, there wasn't really anything to report that was out of the ordinary. Everything's going pretty good. A few things are trying to get tidied up, but that's about it.
I did go to the conservation meeting. They're working on their projects as always and improving kind of some land around, the Prairie Creek project. The pavilion is up and there's a lot of people out there using it. I see every time I'm coming to town, there's people walking on that trail. So the disc golf is going quite well. They're finding a lot of disc golfs out and about. So obviously, if you're disc golfing out there, put your name on things, and they can be usually collected at the interpretive center is where they end up back at. But they've had a few tournaments out there the way it sounded. And
I think word's getting out, because like I say, my nephew's, he looked it up, there's some app that talks about all the disc golf courses, and this one has a really high rating. It's really challenging because of all the altitude, you know, the topographical layout of the park and the fact that it's 18 holes, so it's getting rave reviews.
I did have a report from Dubuque that they had one on the school grounds up there, and they were gonna do some expansion, so they just got rid of it. So they no longer have a disc golf course up there.
Really?
They kind of just dozed in. So, yeah, no, I've heard good reviews on it. So, I plan to bring the grandkids over. They're kind of heavy in that and right away. So, good addition. I'd just like to see somehow that we could get a donation or some revenue box off of that, you know, when the people come.
And I think they are working on that. They're working on trying to figure all that out so that we pass audit wise, and whether it goes back to the Friends or whatever to continue with projects and to help with.
Just pay.
some of that things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pay for the mowing. I mean,
Obviously, the
you know.
community, you know, is benefiting from the people coming here. They're
Right.
eating, they're getting the gas, they're staying, if you will, and they're shopping, and so obviously it's a
Right.
benefit to the
And to
community.
remind everybody, it was kind of a joint project between the city of Macocota
Yeah.
and Jackson County, so
Yeah.
it was very well done.
anything else for the good of the meeting?
No further business, I'd make a motion, we adjourn.
Wait a second.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nan to adjourn. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Everybody have a good day. Enjoy the beautiful sunshine outside.